In your opinion, which category of industry or businesses will be booming in the next 3 to 5 years after the pandemic ends? I think we all
That
have
is
got.
a very interesting question. I am not a fortune teller, and I'm also not a forecaster that can look into the crystal ball and say, yes, this is not going to happen. However, from experiences as well as looking at post COVID 19 globally, what is going to happen is that the healthcare industry and all its ancillary services, as well as companies that are manufacturing healthcare related products, for example, syringes, the glucose
Ventilators.
bags,
Mm.
you know, yeah, ventilators, exactly. And then face masks,
Absolutely.
PPEs for medical personnel and all the other instruments like, the heart rate machines, all the medical related things. All right. So healthcare industry is really going to continue to boom. And it doesn't look likely that it will slow down in the near future. And even when the pandemic ends, it's going to keep growing. And that's because it is something that people now begin to realize that health is going to be something that's very, very important. And therefore, it's not just about work life balance anymore, it's a work life integration, as I also mentioned yesterday. And on top of that, I will say that linked to that industry will be, for example, supplements industry, health supplements. So people are more conscious. So they may say, hey, I need to take a lot of vitamin C's. And if I don't have a lot of sun, then I better take more vitamin D, that kind of thing. So the health supplement industry is going also to be the next wave of boom. And we already see this happening in China after they start to open back their cities. And as a result of that, these are the key industries, healthcare and healthcare related instruments, products, services, as well as their health supplement part is going to be one major area of boom. The second major area will be logistics and deliveries. And this is very true. With all the borders, all the countries cutting off their borders, and poor Priti cannot go back to Nigeria, right? And even my cousin, who is currently in Australia, she's with her, she's still in Vietnam, but at that time she happened to go back to Australia, and now she can't go back to Vietnam. So all her things are still in Vietnam. So it's just that logistics deliveries in future, this is going to be another boom area. So it's second boom area, and that's because more and more people are going to reduce going out, and they may want to go for deliveries. And of course delivery is also going to boom, and this is related to the third area, which is the online businesses. Okay. Now, I don't want to call it e-commerce because e-commerce alone is not sufficient in the future. In the future, we have to look into v-commerce, virtual commerce. Virtual commerce is already starting. You can buy let's say a dress, and you can put your body size and even your photo of yourself there, and you can virtually try on that dress.
Wow.
Okay. You want to renovate your house. I think Hannah had that experience with that Australian speaker the other time at this stage, right?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
can go go into there, and maybe Hannah can explain a bit more how she felt when she was in there. You can literally walk into that house. You can change your color. You can change your
Wow.
furniture until you are satisfied. And then you say, yes, that's what I want. My dream decorations, that's ID. And then only you buy. So it's not just e-commerce so simple anymore. In the future, it is going to be v-commerce, where we have, as consumers, we also have experience show, um, what do we call, I can't find a better word for that, is perhaps a real life experience of
Experience.
what, yeah, what you are going to buy before you decide to buy. And I think this is going to be what is really going to boom very, very fast in the near future. And in fact, one of my friend who deals with ID, she's already starting to move into um, trying to put things into the virtual perspective. Um, I don't really know how far and how effective it is right now because she just started embarking on it this year, and we'll have to see. But I think she said that when she started initially with just one type of VR and virtual reality thing in for her customers, she realized that her sales has improved drastically because people can really feel the whole interior feel before they decide, I like this color, I don't like this color, I like this decor, I don't like this decor. Right? So that is going to be the third area of boom, but this is also related to the second area because when you have online businesses, you need a lot of deliveries. And so deliveries logistics is going to be the next area. And the fourth area, I will say, is F&B. But not so much the sitting down, eating kind of F&B, and what we call online groceries and online F&Bs, etc. What is looking at in F&B is still going to be there. And however, the F&B is going to shift a little bit in the sense that there will be less people gathering at restaurants and more people will be looking at buying it and then having it delivered to their house and eating it at home. So this also linked to the fifth industry, which is packaging. And packaging has to change because now we are delivering things more. And even with v-commerce, we are going to have a lot of deliveries of all kinds of items, from household items to clothings to FMCG items like shampoos and soaps and all that. So packaging becomes very critical to make sure that all these products, including the food that you are buying and the groceries you are buying, will stay fresh and it's usable when it arrives at your place. So these are what I would say the five key areas that will be shaping the world in the future and will continue to boom. And education industry, on the other hand, is not likely to boom, but it's going to be just stabilizing, provided the education institution is able to tap into online.
That was my
Online
next
teaching
question.
and learning.
I was wanting to ask you something about online education itself. Like, to what percentage do you think that this business would be a success? Online education, online everything. Like, even kids are like nowadays, even in India, my neighbor and all the kids over here, they have started, literally small kids, they've started online classes for them.
Right.
So,
Very good question. The online teaching and learning for the kids is going to be perfect for them 100%.
Gen Z.
For the parents, it may take some time for them to adapt. But that is really the future. And in fact, if you look at the trend, 5 years ago, China started embarking on online teaching and learning for learning extra curricular
Activities,
skills such as
skills, yeah.
language.
Mhm.
For example, a lot of the English language center in China, they are already online, teaching online, and they have been doing that for the last 5 years. Okay. On top of that, if you want to learn how to play a musical instrument, um, in China, they have two groups of people. One group, they prefer to learn straight away, from a teacher who comes to their place, or some of them are learning it through online. And there are also a lot of online courses in China which focuses on Python coding and Python programming. And that's why Python as a data analytics tool, it's really, really widespread in China because they are giving all these online sessions for them. And China also provides a lot of online trainings for technical skills. Okay, how to repair a car, for example, right? How to service your own aircon. So there are so many things that's happening online. It is just that we never realize that it is coming. So education and technical training in the future, it's no longer going to be separated. It's going to be part and parcel of the whole thing.
Uh,
And there will be a greater integration of technical skills.
Dr. Tan has a question. He's asking, will this be applicable for higher education also?
I think so.
Yes, in fact, in US, the top university today is Stanford University, and approximately 50% of Stanford University's program are either fully online, hybrid, or blended. So, meaning to say, they are already moving into that direction. They are just waiting for the right timing in order to move to the higher level. So, how do we do that? Is in online education, especially in higher education, we always start with blended. Okay. And then from blended, once we have clear blended, we then move into hybrid. And once we have hybrid, we then go into fully online, right? And that is what Stanford has been doing, and they do it very well. So they are now number one, and Harvard has gone down to number three at this moment. All right. Why? Because the world has changed. There's no right and wrong. It's just that the world has changed.
Change.
And people are changing with it. So if we don't reinvent ourselves, then we will become totally outdated. Now, for those of you, because majority of you are from INTI, the journey of INTI started approximately 8 years ago. 8 years ago, we have already started on our online learning journey. And we started out with blended learning. And then we integrated the blended learning into our SLT, student learning time. And when we did that, that was around 5 years ago. And so we started to have 1 hour allocated for online SLT. And that's very good. We have gone into blended. And then INTI embarked on the next level, which is hybrid. So majority of the MPU subjects now are fully online. Okay. And we also start to have fully online programs like online our MBA LS, our BBAS LS. Those are fully online programs. But although they are seen as fully online, but we still have a lot of shortcomings simply because when we started on the journey of writing the modules, we were still in the blended learning mode rather than a hybrid thinking or fully online thinking mode. But now we are revising, and we have done a fair bit of revision on our LS program. And I've also written a module on LS program. And I'm also shifting the way I handle my LS program. And this is because we need to now move into the third level, which is fully online. So if you see it from INTI's perspective, we are ready. But the world, the Malaysian environment is not ready. So this is the issue we are having right now. And because also of some of the high turnover that we have had in the last 3 to 4 years in INTI, we realized that we have lost a lot of blended learning experts. So a lot of the newer people who come in, they don't understand the true spirit of blended and hybrid anymore. And so this is something that we need to address. And if we can address it, I will say that um, the online education is definitely going to be there.
Great.
Okay, that's nice. Ma'am, that's just the last question which we have over here. When it comes to
No, sorry,
reinventing
Priti. I
yours,
think we already answered this, the last one. We just go with
okay,
the how do
okay,
we
okay,
navigate VUCA, and then we can.
okay. So, okay, it wasn't on the screen. Okay, how do we navigate VUCA in this current situation?
Right, good. As we all know, VUCA is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, right? So, is today's business world very volatile? The answer is yes. So, what can we do with the volatility? Number one, if you are a business owner, you need to understand that the business world is very volatile. So, therefore, always keep cash. Your cash flow has to be beautiful. And as an SME, you need to keep at least 6 months cash flow, positive cash flow. And if you don't have 6 months positive cash flow, with the volatility, you won't survive. Okay. And so this 6 months cash flow is very critical. But how do I do it? Use Power BI. Do your data analysis. All right. Have the information in your hands so that you know what you need. Now, if you are an employee, then what should I do? And you are a salaried person, assuming that suddenly there is some volatility and you lose your job. Oh no. So what am I supposed to do? I've lost my job. Now, if you have lost your job, you need to have enough to keep you going for at least 1 year.
Yeah, that's true.
Why? Because you still have your commitments. You have your house mortgages, you have your car loans, and some of you have taken a study loan, you have your study loan, and you also have to eat, right? So if you are an employee, you need at least 1 year of sufficient income or money to sustain you, right? With minimum survivor income or a survivor money. And that means don't be lavish, all right? So moving forward, in the volatility of today's environment, and as a business owner, you keep your cash flow. As an employee, there are two things you need to do. Number one, start saving. Number two, don't waste your money on unnecessary things. You know, all this branded stuff, they're going to close down. And in fact, some of them are
True.
already applying for bankruptcy protection because it's very simple. You want to live, or do you want to own a 500 ringgit, you know,
Bag. Also.
handbag? Yeah. Can you eat that handbag?
No, so
You
true.
can't. So after the COVID-19, people are going to be a lot more practical.
Yeah. True.
So the volatility is keep cash, right? Now, uncertainty is the world is very uncertain. The business is uncertain. Your job is not secure. So you never know what is going to happen. And therefore, to reduce the uncertainty, work like a donkey. If you are under employment, just keep working, work hard, work smart, doesn't matter. Bottom line, show that you are a valued employee. Show that the company needs you because you add value to the company, right? Reduce that uncertainty because this one you can control. You can make something that's uncertain to become certain. But volatile, you can't because you don't know when it's going to shift, you know. But uncertainty, you can. So you can reduce that uncertainty by being smarter, by working to your boss's needs, right? By performing and making sure that you continuously add value if you're an employee. And if you are an entrepreneur, then don't take things lying down. Always plan ahead. And this is something I think, like I'm sure Hannah can testify to this. This is something that in this stage, as a member of this stage, we get drummed into, you know, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, plan, 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 plan. You know, your strategic plan. You know, where are you going? What are you doing? Where is your action plan? Where is your strategies? Like, bah, 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 bah. And why are they drumming all this into us as entrepreneurs? Very simple. You reduce uncertainties with effective planning. But before you can plan well, make sure you have your data. In today's business world, no data, you can't plan. So that's where the datafication comes in, right? Now, complex. Yeah, the world is, you know, complicated, very complex. And it's hard to know what's happening. You know, suddenly this country like that country like this one died, that one disappeared, you know, this kind of thing. So it is very complex. It is very difficult to understand a situation. Doesn't matter. Datafication. When you have data, when you have facts, when you have figure, don't listen to rumors. You know, this time the COVID-19, 10,001 rumors flying around. And you
Crazy.
really, you know, forget it. You're like, oh shit, what's happening, you know? So always look for, you know, you guys are MBA graduates. You know that when you did your MBA, I always drum into you all. Look for credible journals, right? I always say non-credible sites disregard. Non-credible articles disregard.
22
The
rules.
same, yeah, the 20 rules. Alright. So the complexity can be managed by adopting that kind of mindset. You see, I train you all in MBA to do all these things so that you're ready for VUCA.
True.
Right? So,
That was an excellent class we had. Excellent.
and if you have the 22 rules, I mean, of course, I'm not asking you to do citations, but what I'm trying to say is that always think the data, the facts, the information, is this from a credible source? If it is from a credible source, okay, great. Read it, understand it, and see how can it help you? How can it help your company? That's the seed, right? If you go into the article and it's like wishy-washy, you know, it's just someone's opinion, and then someone else puts in another opinion, disregard. Follow the 22 rules, you know, disregard. It is non-credible. Don't even read it. Don't even bother about it. Just focus on those that matters. Now, for example, in COVID-19, I will follow what WHO will say because WHO is the World Health Organization and they are the ones who are the most cognizant of what's happening globally. So I would rather follow them. right? And any others, I don't really bother. And there are certain sites like Bloombergs, CNBC. Okay,
NBC
I
is good.
will watch all this, and the reason for listening to all this is because they are at least more credible. They have done their research before they say anything. Okay, but the rest, you have tons of Facebook stuff, you have tons of all this sharing. I just delete because they violate the 22 rules. Correct?
True, true.
They don't meet the criteria. So why should I bother? So that's the C. In order to reduce your complexity and the
Like
complicatedness, then go for credible data and information. Then you can make a proper decision, right? And of course, ambiguous is that um, are we going to still have MCO next week? I don't know. When are we going to get out of this COVID 19 thing? I don't
Yeah.
know. When is the COVID 19 vaccine going to be found? I don't know. So I have no answers. Now, when you have no answers, very important, don't panic, don't have fear. This you can control. Right? When everything is unclear, when everything is so lost, you yourself must not be lost. You must stay focused. You must stay clear about what your life is about, where you want to go in your life, and just follow what you want to do and do it to achieve your dreams. But you may not be able to do it in a face to face manner. Let's bring it online. Okay? Like, for example, I'm passionate about sharing, I'm passionate about working with my students, and I love to see them. But now they cannot see me in terms of physical physical face to face. But is that going to stop me? No. I'm going to have Blackboard Collaborate. I can still see them. They can still see me. I can WhatsApp with them. I can still have a fantastic conversation with them. I can use WhatsApp video if I miss their face. Come, Priti. Let's do it. You know, or if I feel that, hey, I want to have a coffee session with my
virtual coffee, ma'am.
exactly like what I said. Let's have a virtual coffee. I mean, you still stay on track. You
Yeah.
still do what you have planned. You still do what you have decided you want to do with your life. The only difference is you do it with a different tool. You do it in a different way. But you never give up. And that's how you handle ambiguity. So I hope that answers your questions on the
Very nice.
VUCA, on how we navigate at each of these from an individual perspective.
Yes, ma'am, truly. And just on the VUCA part, I think if we go back to your class when we taught us where you taught us the balloon part, how each balloon you form your foundation, and we had VUCA also in that balloon, and then whatever comes, we throw the balloon away, but your foundation will still remain. I think that is something that I've
Still,
applied, and it has worked tremendously. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. It is important that you keep to your foundation, and that comes back to your core values, and do not sacrifice your core values. Okay? And if this is what you believe in it. Build that core. As humans, when we do exercises, nowadays people, when you do exercises, they always tell you, build your core, build your
Yeah.
core, build your core.
yeah, yeah.
And then you have to do that blank thing, with
Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
and then you're trying to build that core, and when you do your plank, and you're like, oh my god, my god, my god. So if you use that and apply to a business environment, it is the same. If you own a business, focus on your core. What is your core? Strengthen that core. And it's the same with your health. Strengthen your core. And it's the same with your own competency. What is your core competency? Where is your strength? Forget the weaknesses. Okay? Textbook will always tell you, we must overcome the weakness. Forget it. That is textbook. In real life, you build your core, meaning to say you strengthen on your strength. And if your strength is so strong, nobody will remember you have any weaknesses.
True.
So focus on your strength, strengthen your core in every way, and I'm sure that every one of you will be able to succeed after the COVID-19, and even during COVID-19, I'm sure all of you are going to continue to grow and continue to work towards your dream. So that's all from me. Thank you. And by the way, thank you for all those wonderful questions. Awesome.
Thank
Hannah,
you
is there
so
any more
much.
questions?
No, I think we'll wrap it up now because it's past 3 p.m. So Pretty just
Okay,
the last.
yeah. Ma'am, it's been such a great session. Really, we can't thank you enough for this. After this whole session, I feel so motivated that, there is something more still there after COVID-19 also. It's not that the world is ending. There is so much to learn more still. And, it's been really nice. Thank you all so much for attending. Let's all stay healthy, happy, and safe, and keep striving ourselves to push ourselves harder more for more better success.
True.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Same
Thank
to
you,
you, and
everybody. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you.
thank you.
And everyone
Thank
will
you, Hannah.
be. Thank you so much,
Also,
Doctor. We'll be recording this session and we'll be also writing an article about what Doctor has shared today. So you can check it out if you've missed any point. Everything, all the resources that we have talked about will be there in the article.